And then I'm standing at the front of the room and all of a sudden there's like 15, 20 people just perfectly quiet. Like
a notepad.
Okay, go. So, so heart's pounding. But I got through it. The first seminar went really well. You don't complete tattooing. Tattooing's a progression. I'm going to be still tattooing in my 50s, hopefully in my 60s, and still wanting to get better. Success to me isn't the outwards appearance of success. I haven't got to drive a Ferrari. I haven't got to have a mansion. I've just got to have a smile on my face at the end of each day. To me, happiness is success.
Hello and welcome back to the podcast. I'm Alex Lloyd and this is a 21st Century Tattoo. Jamie,
hello.
How are you doing, mate?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm not too bad.
Awesome.
Bit of a carnage day, but it's been good. And thanks for
thanks for having me. Thanks for coming down to sunny Birmingham. Thank you.
That's it, mate. Tell you what, let's get started, and let's get talking about your tattooing because, like we were speaking a bit earlier, I do a lot of black and grey stuff. You're very much a colour artist. My brain just doesn't work in that way, so I'm always fascinated when I speak to people like yourself and Mike Stockings and all of these traditional like colour artists. I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but how would you personally define your style? Now I know you incorporate some of like your kind of trademark leaves, and you've obviously got a very definitive way of creating those designs. But how would you kind of define it?
I never set out to be a neo-traditional artist, but I think I've kind of been like pigeonholed into that genre. A lot of the stuff that I enjoyed doing was a bit more new school. If I was drawing something completely off the bat, no reference, just a random idea out of my head, it always ended up a little bit more new school than what it did neo-trad. But lately, it's more neo-Japanese lately. The past 6 months since I do a lot of Anya masks and Oni masks and just like general Japanese and Oriental style imagery.
Yeah, where do you? I mean, I want to know where you kind of find the inspiration for that, and the kind of what's kind of led you down that path of going down the more kind of Asian-inspired neo-trad.
To be honest, I think it all come about when the Oni clay masks come about. Like they seem to be hugely popular with artists and tattooists at the minute. So a few friends brought them, started tattooing them. I brought one, took a few pictures, I got some cool reference images for it, turned it into my style of design, tattooed one. Yeah. And then all of a sudden everyone wants an Anya mask or a Kitsune mask or just something else that's Oriental inspired. And I'm happy doing it, but I always say to them, no dragons, geishas, koi carps, just the general Oriental style imagery that's been done to death. Yeah. It's almost, for me, doing geishas and dragons and koi carps is probably the same as like a black and grey artist doing a lion with a bit of blue in the eyes or roses or just general doves black and grey images. It's cool, it's fine if you like that kind of thing. It's just a little bit overdone in the industry now. Yeah. And I think as far as artists go, they just want to do fun portfolio work.
Yeah, nice. And is that what it is? You're kind of trying to push the boundaries a bit. I mean, why would you say no to doing that stuff? I mean, I guess it's the same with any artist. It's because you want to see how far you can kind of take it with those.
Yeah, to a certain way. I'll say something that I say to a lot of clients when they inquire for certain styles of work that I don't necessarily do. It's cheesy. It's really cheesy. You're gonna laugh. But I normally say if someone brings me an image of a general overdone image that I don't really want to do, I think we can do something better, a bit more original. I say to them, why do you want to follow trends when we can start them? And in my head, I'm cringing. I was like, I can't believe I've just said that. But to the clients, they go, oh my God, that's amazing. Yeah, I want to start some trends rather than follow the equivalent of David Beckham's back tattoo. Yeah. And from there, we can get the ball rolling to come up with some slightly more original designs, original compositions, and not necessarily just copy somebody else's work or what somebody else is doing. I never thought I was pushing the boundaries or went in that direction. So, okay, I'm going to try and do something new that people are going to look at me and think, oh, that's amazing. I've never tried to do that. I just wanted to do something that's a little bit different. Yeah. More so for me rather than the Instagram following and
yeah, man. And it just grows organically, doesn't it?
yeah, of course. Yeah.
I think there's so many people who want to get tattooed. Some are very creative and some aren't. And that's what it kind of comes down to as an artist, is being able to help them kind of, find something that kind of works for them and suits them, as well as suiting yourself. I think it's great. Like, what proportion of your clients kind of just are quite like strict with their brief?
I seem to find that once I've tattooed someone for the first time, you tend to gain their trust a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I've got a lot of clients where they've started out for their first tattoo and they've been a bit hesitant about certain ideas that I've got, or they're being very reluctant to change certain things about ideas that they've got. I think if you can bend to a client enough for you to still be happy, to give them something that you're proud that you've produced and you can put up on your social media for the world to see, then great. If they want something that you really don't want to do, you're not going to get a picture of it at the end of the day. It's not going to turn into a big portfolio piece or a returning client of work that you want to do. Then maybe not do it and just maybe recommend another artist that's in that style. Do you find it difficult to do that? And I'm only asking this from personal experience because I find that during the consultation phase, it can seem like clients are quite easy going with it, but then give them the months of waiting, and then by the time you get to the appointment, they've maybe developed their idea, or they are then set on something or set on a placement, and then on the day you maybe realise that it might need adjusting or changing, you know what I mean? Yeah.
And then how do you kind of go about that? And then I always kind of find a bit of a pressure or it's difficult rather to say it's maybe not the best way to do it, and maybe I have to try and kind of adapt my work to suiting the client's needs, you know?
Yeah.
Do you find that difficult?
I used to find it really difficult, but as time's gone on and people have seen more and more of the work that I want to do, I don't really get that issue as much anymore. I get more people trusting what I can do, or what I do for whatever reasons. You know, it's amazing that people book in with me, to be honest. I've got a little section on my phone, it's like a notes section where I've got loads of little notes written out and saved, and then whenever they ask a certain question, I will send them this note related to their question. Yeah. There's like 3 or 4 bullet points kind of thing when people are booking in.
Yeah.
And on it does say, if you want to change your idea, if you want to change your placement or anything, let me know as soon as you possibly can, because it may not be something I can accommodate or do for you.
Yeah.
So I'm already giving them notice that if they do want to change it, I need time, of course, to be able to adapt and adhere to what they want. If it's an idea, if they want to completely change it to an idea that I just don't do, I'm completely transparent and honest with them and say, look, I think you're going to get a better tattoo from somebody else if this is the kind of thing that you want. The most important people in my studio is the clients at the end of the day. What they want comes above everything else, putting a big smile on their face at the end of the day. Yeah. That's what it's about. And if they can get a bigger smile with another artist, then I will give them the deposit back and I will recommend another artist, whether it be in the studio, in another studio, in a studio around the corner from here. It doesn't really matter. The client's the most important person at the end of the day. Yeah.
Do you think, have you always been like that?
Yeah.
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 I think
just trying to work out whether it's kind of something that comes with experience as well. Because it's like, I would always want to recommend as well, always at the time. What I'm kind of trying to grasp is like on the day when you get a client who's there for that appointment, you know, and like, have you ever had an instance where you've maybe had to turn them away at the time because they've changed their mind, you know?
There's been a couple of times, not recently, more as I was building my style and developing whatever it is that I do now. Yeah. Back then, yeah, I get a lot of people turn up and just go, can we do it black and grey?
Oh, okay.
I still get that now, and I'm honest with them. Yeah, again, trying to be transparent with my clients. And if they want to change it to black and grey, okay, let's do it black and grey, but it's going to be opaque grey. Yeah. It'll be like or like the bluey kind of opaque grey sets or the greeny opaque grey sets. It won't just be strict, watered down black or like, a diluted black and grey set.
Or a grey,
I think it's a completely different technique to be able to do that. It's something that I used to do many, many moons ago. But for me to attempt a black and grey tattoo now, it's not going to happen. It's not going to go great. It's not going to look as good as what yours do.
Oh, mate, thank you so much. Yeah, it's completely different, isn't it? Completely different type of technique.
Yeah.
So talk to me then, how did you end up here? How did you end up with your style and kind of leaning towards your colour work? Where did that kind of all stem from?
I started out doing black and grey just because that was the in thing at the time. I was just new to the industry. And then I had a couple of friends that did say, do what you want to do on me. Okay, cool. What do I want to do? Because I was new to the industry. I didn't see styles as different. I just saw a tattoo as a tattoo.
Yeah, same.
So I was like, okay, what do I want to do? What do I enjoy drawing? I like drawing flowers. So it just kind of naturally developed from that. So these few friends that would ask me to do some drawings for them and then eventually tattoo them, it started off being more traditional and like traditional Japanese, like Americana sort of designs. And then it just kind of slowly developed from there, finding inspiration from other artists. There's a million and one artists in this industry that are really pushing the boundaries. And I think social media is a massive tool for helping get their style out there. So to have platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest and all of that, they're hugely beneficial to the industry in developing the style. I probably follow, 1,100 people on my Instagram. The vast majority of those are artists.
Yeah.
So every day I'm seeing these posts come up over and over again. Like, oh, the way this guy's done these leaves, that's awesome. I'm going to try and not copy it. I'm going to try and adapt it in a way.
Yeah, make it my own. It's pulling inspiration, isn't it? Of course,
exactly.
I think
so you can find little cues from not necessarily tattoo artists, like artists in general. And you can, I love the way he's done that. I love the way he's put this lower light there and this highlight here. Or the way he's, it's like on the top of the forehead, solid black vein down to colour or something.
Yeah.
Rather than the whole thing being blank and one big piece. It's inspiring to see all these artists, and I think that's crucial to artist development. I don't think anyone can sit there, ignore the world with a pen and paper and come up with something absolutely amazing
just
off the bat.
Straight off the top of your head.
I think you need that idea in your head. So, well, I've seen this before, or I've seen that before. And not necessarily just do what that one person's doing, but take little cues from 20, 30, 40 things, artists, advertisement boards that you've seen, put them together, and then you've got something that's different, that's a bit more unique.
Yeah.
And then hopefully you're doing things like that. So then you put that post out there and hopefully inspire somebody else the same way as other people have inspired you. I think that's the way you slowly develop a style. Obviously time as well. You're not going to go from doing realism black and grey to I've had enough of doing that now. I'm going to be the next Kenny Polk or the next Sneaky Mitch or something and do it tomorrow. It's not going to happen. It's going to take years to develop that style, that twist in your work.
Yeah, definitely. And I think not enough. There's not enough appreciation for the time. I think, unfortunately, I'm not saying everyone, but I think some people coming into and I've not been in the industry a long time, but I notice a little bit more now, people kind of coming into the industry, they just want to kind of get their style then and there. And I think you should kind of, just draw and allow that to happen organically.
I think I'm probably the last of the generation that come from the old school mentality. So the generation of tattooists before me tend to be the kind of people where it's, you have to learn line work, black work, how to pack colour, how to do blends, how to do black and grey, how to put solid white into a skin for whatever reason. Stupid idea. And then the generation after me seems to be the generation that, I just want to do dot work, or I just want to do black and grey, or I just want to do these little trad bangers. And
we're kind of in the middle.
I feel like my generation is smack bang in the middle of that. So I've got the old school mentality of I wanted to learn different techniques to be able to offer my clients more rather than saying, I can't do that. No, I won't do that. I can't do that. But this then I've gone to the next generation where I'm just want to concentrate on my one thing.
Yeah, but you can do that now. I mean, how far in are you? Where are you up to now?
About 12 years now.
12 years.
Yeah, about 11, 12 years. I did my very first tattoo.
Yeah, and it shows, man. You know, that's why I'm here. I'm going to chat with you. Right, little word about some of my favourite cartridges from Ghost. These are the Nano, and obviously, as the name suggests, they're designed for a lot of the finer work. These go all the way down to a 0.18mm up to a 0.35. Now, the ones I've got here are a 3-liner in the 0.2 and a 1-liner in the 0.25. Make sure you go and grab yourself some exclusively from Star. If you use the code ATFCT10, you get 10% off as well. Where was your kind of main inspiration for getting into this industry? Was there maybe a point growing up where you were like, this is definitely what I want to do, or
oh no, definitely not. I was 21 when I had my first tattoo. I had no interest in tattoos before that. I actually come home with my first tattoo at 21. I had a skull on the outside of my forearm by a guy called Rich Carpenter in Warsaw. And then a year later, I was tattooing myself. But I come home, my first tattoo, I was still living at home at the time. My mum saw the tattoo, thought, oh, okay, here you go, you're in a little bit of trouble. She went, let's have a look then. So I showed her, and she gave me the money for it in the end. So having a really supportive family behind tattooing has been amazing. So then when I was at university, I was studying creative writing and journalism. I don't know why. University completely sucked the fun out of writing for me.
Yeah, oh God, yeah.
Yeah, it weren't fun anymore. But about a year into being at university, a friend of mine started tattooing. They got themselves an apprenticeship in a local studio. And then another friend of mine started tattooing, like in our student dorm sort of thing.
Oh, mad, okay.
Yeah. I was like, okay, well, I've got a tattoo. I'm interested in tattooing now. Let's give it a go. So I did, and a few friends helped me out, and I was going from like studio to studio on certain days. And that's pretty much where it started. But it weren't a case of I'm going to be a tattoo artist. I think I was tattooing before I realised that I wanted to be a tattoo artist.
Wow, okay.
So...
Where was that switch though? Because you say pre-21, you were just not fazed or bothered by tattoos. So at what point were you like, nah, I actually want to do this? Was it the lack of enjoyment for the journalism and the creative writing?
I've always been able to draw to a decent standard. Even when I was like 8, 9 years old, I did a portrait of Henry VIII at school, and I won something for it. I can't remember what it was. So I've always been, I wouldn't say an artist, just being able to draw to a certain degree. But I never ever thought that it would be a career path. So because of that, I didn't bother. I didn't bother with art class. I didn't bother with art school or anything like that. I went to college to do music and dropped out of that. I went to university, dropped out of that. I just never thought that being an artist or being a tattooist was a worthwhile career path. Yeah. Until I started doing it. And then it was like, oh, wow, this is cool. This is awesome. And I got to the end of my first day of tattooing. I've earned £100 today. And I've tattooed this little Japanese flower. Like, I've had a good day today. And it kind of felt like I was getting paid doing my hobby. Yeah, that's it. And then I think it was from there that a love of it developed. But I searched for apprenticeships high and low, and I couldn't find one, or anyone decent enough to be able to take me on and help me. So the majority of the things that I did, I was self-taught. So sitting there watching all these videos, buying these videos, even downloading some videos, watching YouTube scripts like Joshua Colton and Jeff Gogway and Jason Ackerman, all these awesome artists, because I was invested in it for myself. then the love developed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, it's crazy. So you're pretty self-taught then. That's mad. I mean, what's you're kind of born and bred Birmingham way, yeah?
Yeah, I was born in a little town near here called Wednesbury. I live in Tipton at the minute, which is about probably like a 6-mile drive away from where we are.
What's the scene like around here?
The Birmingham tattoo scene, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. There's a lot of studios where we are in the Jewellery Quarter. It should be called the Tattoo Quarter.
Yeah. There's a few.
But it's because we're all private studios around here. None of us really go off walk-ins and stuff. It's been fine. You know, all the artists around here get along with each other brilliantly.
Yeah.
I've had a few of the artists around here that have even been in the studio to get tattooed by myself or various artists, and then we go and do the same. Yeah, it's been cool. It's nice around here. Yeah,
it's good. It's nice to at least see that that's the way the industry's going as well. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I've spoken to, I've had quite a few people on the podcast in different parts of the country, and different pockets of the country are, some are really chill like that, and there's like 3 studios on one street, and everyone's like super easygoing, and others are very like territorial. So it's nice to see it going that way, you know, being able to recommend to other people, and that's what it's about. You know, there's more than enough to go around.
Yeah, well, there's none of us here do scripts or offer scripts, and although I can draw, I'm not going to sit there and draw amazing scripts for people. But there's a guy around the corner that does some awesome script work. So if they get any inquiries for scripts or custom scripts, just recommend them straight to them. Yeah,
that's what it's about. Cool. I want to ask you what your earliest artistic memory is.
Probably that thing when I was about 8 years old and I drew Henry VIII.
Okay, yeah.
I think it was like a charcoal painting or something like that. I can't even remember the painting, but as far as trying to be like an artist, that's probably my first artistic memory.
Yeah.
Either that or when I was 3 years old, running up and down my mum and dad's flat with Sharpies, drawing on the walls. Yeah, they weren't too happy, but I thought it was amazing.
So it's like it's been a lifelong thing.
Yeah.
We'll talk about, you mentioned that you won an award there for your Henry VIII painting.
Oh, it was like some school fate fair thing. I can't remember what it was. I just remember my mum saying that it was awesome and I won something for it.
Yeah.
Whether it was a stick or a gold star on my weekly board at school or something. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, fast forward to now, you know, I mean, looking at some of the awards that you have won, talk about best small colour and best trad at Big North Tattoo Show, was that right?
Big North was...
And best large at Tattoo Tea Party.
Big North was first place traditional, and then I come second place best of day.
Yeah.
Tea Party was first large colour and first best of Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that was awesome. Yeah.
How did you find them? Do you enjoy conventions and kind of that kind of, you got a bit of a competitive side?
No,
no,
I haven't. It's one of the things that my ex-business partner kind of drove into me, and I'm so thankful that he did. Was if I'm going to a convention, I go with the intention of entering, because I think it gives you more of a drive to do a bigger, better piece with a better composition, more saturation, spend longer on the design, because you know you're going to get judged by your peers.
Yeah.
So go with go wanting to enter, but never with the expectation to win. I do see a lot of artists that go to conventions, I've got this in the bag, I've got it, it's mine. And then when they don't get it, they get pissed off and throw a hissy fit.
Yeah.
I've won awards where I haven't even been in the room. I've been outside smoking, or I've been at the bar, or I've left early, and they're calling out my name, and I've got people phoning me saying, "Come back, you've won an award."
Yeah.
Like, oh, I didn't expect that. That's amazing. So, of course, I'm elated when I do win. I just never expect to win. But as far as a competitive streak, I wouldn't sound competitive. I just want to do a cool tattoo, and if people think it's worth an award, then I'm over the moon that that's what they think.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, it really does speak for itself. What's your favourite, or have you got any like favourite projects to date? Is there anything that you've worked on maybe recently, or anything that really stands out to you that is like, yeah, I was really happy with that?
Larger projects, just in general, larger projects. I get a lot of people that come to me where they want a one-hit piece. And I do say to them, is it ever going to be extended into a larger tattoo or a sleeve or a back piece or a chest piece or whatever? And 9 times out of 10, they say, no, it's just this one-hit piece.
Yeah.
So I do the one-hit piece, design it as an inner forearm, or design it as an inner bicep or a thigh or a calf or whatever they want. And then they come to me later on and say, I want to turn it into a bigger piece. Well, if you'd said that originally, then I could have designed it as a big piece and it would have fit and it would have flowed better. And so...
I get this
so with
time.
a lot of artists get it, and it's harder to try and extend a smaller tattoo. It really is.
Yeah, it has to be planned. I mean, it's so tricky because I'm sitting here, sounds like being a diva, but it's like because not everyone can commit to that. Not everyone thinks or plans that far ahead. But if there's anyone out there who is thinking about getting a full sleeve, sit down with your artist and plan the whole sleeve first.
Yeah, and do regular sit-ins as well. Definitely do regular sit-ins.
Don't just go in for one and then go, oh, well, I'll just get that, see how I get on, and then I'll come. It's like, unfortunately, if you want the best results, at least, it's kind of all or nothing, isn't it?
Exactly. But the reason that I mention it is because... going back to those little bullet points that I've got on my phone that I send out to people, there's one on there basically saying what we've just talked about. If it's ever going to be a bigger piece, please make exceptions and book more sit-ins. The first sit-in's going to be outline, then it's going to be black, then it's going to be colour, and so on and so forth. This way I can design it as a full piece, get to fit and flow with the body, and clients are listening to me more now than what there was a year or two ago. So I am getting a lot of pieces come in where it's, I want a full sleeve. Okay, amazing. And so because of this, I'm getting to do bigger, more appealing compositions.
Yeah, that kind of really showcase your work.
Yeah. It's also bigger as well. If someone comes and wants a skull on the inside of the forearm, you do a skull on the inside of the forearm. Yeah. Someone comes in and wants a skull as part of a sleeve, the skull's like from here to here. It's huge. It just fits so much better and flows the rest of the body, which is much better. Obviously, there's always going to be exceptions. I've got a couple of clients that are in the army and they only get leave once every 9 months. So I can only see them once every 9 months. People aren't going to want to walk around with an outlined arm for 9 months. So you make exceptions for things like that. But as far as the way my work's gone, I'm definitely enjoying the bigger compositions. Not even necessarily the bigger tattoo, just the bigger compositions. Being able to do a skull this big, rather than this big.
That's it.
I just think it's a lot. I can do more with it. It's more fun. You can really get your teeth into it. Yeah. You set out the big 25 mags and have some fun.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I'm almost going the other way now. I'm kind of trying to get smaller and smaller. I want to try and nail the finer stuff,
or at least micro detail sort of things.
Yeah, not fully micro realism. I'm just still kind of trying to put my thing on it, and just kind of trying to do it in the way. It's weird. It's kind of just how I kind of envision it in my mind, And it's I'm so grateful for all my customers now because the longer that you're doing it, the more kind of people will come to you for that stuff.
Yeah.
And I can really now start to explore my style. I'm just excited to kind of see where it goes, If you're enjoying the podcast this week, don't forget to leave us a rating and a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. It really helps the podcast grow. Let's talk for a minute about chapters.
Okay.
Why the name, first of all?
You're probably better off asking my fiance this question rather than me. I written down probably 20, 30 different names and none of them sounded right. None of them rolled off the tongue. And going from owning my previous studio with my business partner to us wanting to do separate things, I needed a new studio name. Obviously, I love the name of my last studio. I thought that was a really good name. It was really hard to kind of get onto the standard where I like this name even more than the old one.
Yeah.
Nothing was coming in, rolling off my tongue and going, that's it. That's what I want. And out of the list, there was I'm drawing a blank now.
No, it's fine. Fair enough. It's good. It's just concise in it. I like it. Like I said to you at the beginning, I like what you've done with it. Your kind of style kind of seeps through. Yeah. What's the biggest obstacle? I was going to ask you. What's the biggest challenge or the biggest obstacle that you've faced with running this place so far?
The initial setup, more than anything else. I tattoo 4 days a week, sometimes 5 days a week. And I dedicate maybe like a day to the running of the studio. So running the studio really isn't that hard if you keep on top of it on a weekly basis. My fiance and the piercer here, Emma Regan, she helps out quite a lot, and she was crucial to the initial start of chapters. Like she organised pretty much everything. I was here doing all the building work and the decorating and buying things, planning out the rest of the studio, whereas she was behind the scenes organising the website, setting up email addresses, registering this, that and the other. So that really helped me be able to concentrate on what I wanted the studio to be. So without that, it would have been a struggle initially. Yeah. But the general running of a studio, I think, is quite easy.
Yeah. Once it's off the ground, it's that initial bit is definitely the hardest bit. Yeah, man. There's a lot to it. There's a lot more than kind of people understand. And I don't hats off to anyone who does it by themselves, because I mean I wouldn't be able to do it. Like me and my partner run R1. Yeah,
it's kind of the same sort of situation.
It's a collaboration, man. Like that's what it's all about. Like it's. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
I wouldn't be able to do this without my partner.
Yeah. Talk to me about. So does she tattoo?
She's a piercer.
She's the piercer.
Yeah, she's a piercer here. Emma Regan. She's a member of the UK PP. Sells amazing jewellery. Awesome piercer. And pretty much just runs the studio for me. So
what's it like having like with a working relationship? Do you find that? Is it stressful? Does it take its toll?
I imagine a lot of people would think that, but I prefer it. The only thing that I miss is being able to go home and say, "How's your day been?" Because I already know. I've been there for the majority of the day. But because the studio's on 2 different levels, piercing's all downstairs, tattooing's upstairs, I still do get a little bit of that. Yeah. And we don't really see each other that much throughout the day. Like she'll come upstairs and take photos and ask if everyone wants a drink and stuff, and so will her apprentice Kirst, and you can have a chat and talk to your missus throughout the day. That's cool. And then I get back home and talk shop a little bit. Yeah. And
by that point, like, I mean, if you're like me, I end up spending all day, every day at work. And I mean, I work with my partner. I mean, it's so true. You'd think that you would be like, just like with each other constantly. And even though you're in the same building, you don't spend that time.
Although we're in the same building, I find it hard to spend quality time with my partner. But we're getting married this year. So there's loads of things that we need to do to organise the wedding and get married, and we're both finding it difficult to find the time to give to each other to be able to do that. Yeah. Whether it be work-related or we've got a dog, and the dog takes up a lot of our time. He's incredibly spoilt. Yeah.
What have you got?
He's an English Bull Terrier cross called Taco, but he's like 3-4 now. But yeah, he's completely spoiled.
Yeah, they're mad, isn't it?
Yeah, so finding time where I'm at the studio and Emma's not, then Emma will be with the dog, and then if Emma's at the studio and I'm not, I'll be with the dog. And then if we're together, it's normally with the dog on a dog walk somewhere. So it's hard to find quality time with my partner. But me trying to work 4 days a week and Emma working 4 days a week, we try our hardest to get that 1 day a week together where we can do something together. I go away quite often, whether it be conventions or on holidays or city breaks, etc. So I'll try to go away like maybe once every 2 months, 3 months, just for a few days even, where we can spend proper quality time together. And I think that's important. It helps you to reset. Yeah. And then you get back and you feel fresh, ready to kind of attack what you love doing again.
So important, man. And it's something I'm still trying to learn, you know. I mean, I've come down now. I've dropped a day tattooing so that I can spend a bit more time on the admin, a bit more quality time, a bit more time with my apprentice, and rather than kind of just being like completely back to back, you know. Do you think there's any issues that maybe tattoo artists might face quite unique to tattooing? You maybe wouldn't have to deal with as much in another industry, because obviously there's only one of us. And you know, we spend a long time with one client. Yeah. When you're tattooing, you can't do anything else. I mean,
I think the admin side of things, the admin wears thin really, really quick. Before, when my diary was always open, it was a massive headache. It was always an issue. Constant messages to reply to all the time after you've been tattooing 8-9 hours. Although you're sitting there just doing this on someone's skin all day, it's mentally exhausting. You know yourself.
Yeah. And physically,
it probably is more so with you than what it is with me, because you're doing those like tiny little micro details. Where all of my stuff's quite big and open and quite simple to do. So you get back home, you're mentally drained. It's 6-7 o'clock. You know, you might want to go to the gym. You've got to walk the dog. You've got to get some food. You got to have a shower. Then you sit there. It's 9 o'clock at night. You're tired, you want to go to bed. I've got 50 messages to reply to.
Yeah.
And then once the 50 messages are replied to, then they reply. Yeah. So it's like a vicious cycle, never ends.
Oh my God, yeah. And I think you take it home with you as well, you know. It's not as if like, I mean, I don't know how many people can be like, that's it, I'm answering my phone now. I mean, maybe that's a good thing to do. I don't know. But I want to make sure that I can get back to my clients quickly. Not just from a business side of things, but also because I think it's just, I would want that, you know, from my artists.
But on my social media, I've got no auto reply. I've got no auto cues or anything. So I have to reply to each individual message myself. I like that personal touch. I think that helps with clients. Whether they're already booked in or it's a potential new client messaging. But when my diary was always open, I couldn't send the message where it says, my diary is currently closed.
Yeah.
Please message back on this date. So I'll do that now, where I'll close my diary in like 3 month stints and open it for the next 3 months. And I try to stay between 3 to 6 months in advance.
Yeah.
So when people message me now, I do still reply. I just don't go into vivid detail about booking as what I would when my diary is open.
Yeah, of course.
And it takes the pressure off massively.
Yeah,
it still annoys my girlfriend when I'm sitting at home and I'm sitting there on my phone until 9-10 o'clock at night most nights.
Bro, this is the problem.
Yeah. And it is something I'm trying to work on, is spend less time on my phone, less time on social media. I know it's a massive thing at the minute. And I don't want to be a part of the problem with it. So I'm trying to wean myself away from it. But when my phone goes off and someone messages me saying, looking forward to my sitting next week, I have to reply.
Yeah.
I can't just leave somebody unread.
Yeah, man.
Whether because I think it's rude or I want to try and be a better person, you know, for these people, for these clients and stuff.
Yeah, mate. Well, I'm disgusted because you left me waiting at least an hour, I reckon, for a DM.
Sorry, mate. Sorry, mate.
No, it's good. It's a really good way to be. And, you know, you find if you don't, it can really, really put a strain on a relationship.
Yeah.
By then, because you will have to be glued to your phone out of work. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know how a tattoo artist can do it, being in a relationship with someone who's not an artist and doesn't work in that industry. That must get difficult. And then almost in that instance, I'm quite grateful that me and my partner work in the same industry.
Yeah, I was going to say the same. And me and Emma work, although she's a piercer and I'm a tattoo artist, it's still the same sort of industry. Yeah. So she gets it to a certain degree. But yeah, it does piss her off from time to time when we're trying to watch Game of Thrones and I'm on my phone. Yeah.
Mate, I'm literally catching up on all of that now. Yeah, nice, man. Tell you what I do want to talk to you about is seminars. Now, I know I've seen that you've been kind of doing or kind of really introducing a lot of that now. Yeah. Talk to me about your seminars. Is it a new thing? Have you got more lined up? And what are you kind of trying to achieve with the seminar whole thing? And what can people really learn from that, you know? Yeah.
It's an old/new thing. We had a couple of guest artists back at my old studio from America, and they wanted me to go over to them in the States and teach a seminar from their studio. One of the artists' brothers teaches seminars and we were kind of like do one alongside each other in a way. So I thought, okay, these guys are really nice people. I want to go out to them in Arizona and just chill, have a little bit of fun. But then lockdown come in and nothing went ahead. But I still had people asking about the seminar because I'd advertised it at this point. I was like, okay, so I'll keep a list to the side just in case I do eventually do one. Decided to do one here eventually after people kept asking if I was going to do something. I was like, okay, let's do one. Nervous as hell. Organised one for 15 people here. They all turned up. Like, oh, great.
Now I've got to do it.
Yeah. So it was okay when everyone was down here and it was like more of a social thing. I was talking to each other, having a coffee or a bagel or something, that was cool. And then I say, okay, everyone's got to go upstairs to where I was teaching the seminar. And then I'm standing at the front of the room and all of a sudden there's like 15, 20 people just perfectly quiet. Like a notepad. Okay, go. So, so heart's pounding. But I got through it. The first seminar went really well. I was amazed that it sold out so quickly. I was so thankful for the people for doing it. But the real reason that I wanted to do the seminar initially was just because people were asking. And because I feel that with the majority of what I do in tattooing is self-taught, I've had to find my way to do what I do.
Yeah.
So I've learned a lot of mistakes. I've done a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
And that I've had to learn from. So if I can help someone learn from my mistakes rather than their own mistakes, I think that can benefit a lot of people.
Oh my God, yeah, 100%.
A hell of a lot of people.
That's something I really want to do more of, is go to more seminars this year, you know.
I think they're massively important. There's a lot of awesome artists at the minute doing incredible seminars. Like, they've got different layouts and stuff. What I do works for me. My first seminar, amazing. Second seminar went great. I've now organised my third one here. It's essentially the same seminar that I'm doing with tweaks each time that I do it. I ask for feedback from the people that come and do it. I've had a couple of small negative comments, but these are where I can really learn, is from the constructive criticism during the seminars, during what I'm saying to people.
It's not just like random hate.
I won't go too much into it. I won't go into technique and stuff. If you want to learn all that, book onto the seminar.
There you go. You heard it here first.
But the things that I do say, I try to find a way to describe what I'm doing to people in a very, very simple, stripped back way, so as it's easily digestible.
Yeah.
I find a lot of artists that do their seminars are overcomplicating things. And if you're in a room of 15, 20, 30 people and the artist who's doing the seminar says something that you don't fully understand, you're not going to go, oh, sorry, I didn't quite get that. Can you repeat it again?
Yeah. Because everyone else, because you think everyone else will think you're an idiot.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people don't do that. So I find it, if I can almost kind of write a seminar for dummies, for example, I think if I can find a way to make myself understand it, I'm not the most intelligent of people, then other people are going to get it. And doing it that way, it's almost kind of like you can see the light bulb go off in people's head. So rather than saying, I use this, I say, I use this because of this, for these reasons.
Yeah. And
then physically show them. And then they go, oh yeah, that makes sense. It's the vast majority of tattooing is common sense.
Oh God, yeah, for sure.
But it's when someone's showing it to you, then you go, yeah, that makes sense. I can do that from that one.
Yeah, and then it clicks, doesn't it?
Yeah,
100%.
Right, little word about some of my favourite cartridges from Ghost. These are the Nano, and obviously, as the name suggests, they're designed for a lot of the finer work. These go all the way down to a 0.18mm up to a 0.35. Now, the ones I've got here are a 3-liner in the 0.2 and a 1-liner in the 0.25. Make sure you go and grab yourself some exclusively from Star. If you use the code ATFCT10, you get 10% off as well.
Have you got any interest in hosting any other artists for seminars here, or are you going to just kind of keep it to yourself for now?
I'll keep it to myself for now.
Yeah.
Purely for the reason of we're not a huge space. I can accommodate myself and maybe like between 15 and 20 people upstairs when I got the room all set up for it. Anything more than that's cramped. think the only reason with the host other artists doing seminars would be more like a networking part of it. But I've got conventions to go and do networking. So if I want someone to come and guest here, that's great, come and guest here. If they want to come and teach a seminar here, it's probably a bit too cramped for them to do it.
Yeah, it almost needs its own.
It also kind of turns into like a little bit of a business model as well. And I'm not really doing the seminars to be a businessman and turn seminars into a money making scheme, because it's not like that for me.
Yeah, of course.
So if people want to do seminars, that's great. I'll do them at your shop.
Yeah, basically, yeah. No, for sure. Well, I think it's great. And I think it's really great what you're doing there, because your work is, you've obviously, you can see through the work how you've gone through that failure, success, the kind of the trials and tribulations of getting that thing to.
I hope so.
Yeah, man, 100%. Another thing that I was really wanted to kind of touch on as well is you've done some really interesting collaborations, something which I've kind of seen a lot of artists kind of doing now. Some of the ones that really stood out to me are your collab with like Colin Whitfield, and also your collab with Soul & Clothing as well. Can you talk to me a little bit more about that?
The very first collaboration that I did was with my ex-business partner, Rich Harris. I think it might have been the first one that he did as well. And we just had such fun doing it. We've done a lot of them when we were together back at the old shop. And they were always so much fun to do. So when I ventured out on my own with chapters, I still wanted to continue doing the collaborations. So I had a few artists reach out to me. I reached out to other artists, and we just got together, sat at this table, did a cool design, booked someone in, get it tattooed. And most nights we were tattooing until like 11, 12 o'clock at night, like both days.
It's a long old stint, isn't it?
Yeah, but it was fun. It was fun. And I think I do collaborations, one, for the networking aspect of it, and two, to learn from other artists that I look at their work and go, wow, these guys are doing something amazing. I want to see what they're doing. I want to see how they're doing it. Of
course.
How I can bring their aspect of their work into mine to help me be a better artist. And the one I did one with Colin here, and we had a really, really long couple of days. The client turned up, and the client was a tall guy. He was a big guy. His leg didn't look that big from the pictures. So we put the hours in, and we did a cool tattoo. We were both really happy with it. But
which one was it? It was a full outside, was it?
Yeah, full outside leg. I just find it easier to work on a full outside leg when two people are tattooing at the same time. The clients seem to handle it a little bit better as well, rather than being like a full back or a full front. So that was the first one with Colin. And then we decided to do a second one, just try and one up ourselves in a way. I think most artists look at your work a week later and think, I could have done this, I could have done that, I could have done this a little bit better.
A week later, mine's like that evening.
Well, I've been tattooing for 12 years. I don't think I've ever done a single tattoo that I can recall that I've gone, that's amazing, that's perfect, I'm so proud of that. I've done tattoos I look at and go, yeah, I'm really happy with that. Yeah. But then you sit there on your phone, you zoom in and you go, I could have done this part a little bit neater or that part a bit better. Yeah. It's always going to be the same. But I think with that hunger to get better and better, I don't think that part of that's ever going to go away. It's always going to be there. So I want to get better, but you don't complete tattooing. Tattooing's a progression. I'm going to be still tattooing in my 50s, hopefully in my 60s, and still wanting to get better. But then the second collaboration that we did was in London, and it was fun, but it was very stressful at the same time because I was flying to Vegas the day after. So we packed up our suitcases, gone to London, worked the show for 2 days, and then the following day flew straight to Vegas with some friends. So in my head, I'm like, Vegas, yeah, Vegas, baby, this is going to be fun. But I needed to get into tattoo mode as well at the same time. And I think with having Colin there next to me throughout the whole weekend really helped with that, getting into my zone, into my tattoo mind. He's a very, very talented artist, and he drives people to do better as well. If you're doing something during the tattoo that he's not 100% keen on. He doesn't pull you up on and go, oh, Jamie, you're doing a shit job there. He'll just be like, oh, what do you think about doing this or think about doing that? And then he'll show you a visual reference for it and like, oh, thanks, mate. That's awesome. But he's definitely one that I want to do future collaborations with. He's got a good eye for composition.
Is there anyone else who you'd love to do a collab with?
1,000,001 people.
Give me your top 3.
Before I give you my top 3, I think collaborations, you need to have a distinctive style to be able to collaborate. But also, if I was to collaborate with another artist in my style, it's going to be harder to see it as a collaboration.
Yeah.
I mean, the closest person to my style that I work with has probably been Anthony Lennox.
Yeah.
We did a 2-day collaboration here, but I think because we're both in neo-trad, but our styles are different enough to be able to see it's a collaboration rather than that one artist has done it. Purely for that reason, I just want to work with artists that just don't do what I do. So for my all-time favourite artists, and it probably always will be, is a guy called Kenny Poke.
Yeah.
Purely for the ingenious way he puts tattoos together. He did one recently where it was just a giant black and grey panda, but it was the whole length of a leg. And I would have never have thought of just using one huge image across the whole leg, but have so much open space within the tattoo. But it just worked. So number 1 on my list will be Kenny Poke. I think the dude's amazing, and I think I could really learn a lot from him. I'd love to say Sneaky Mitch is a huge inspiration to my work, but because we're so close in style, I think mine's a bit more stripped back than what his is. He seems to get a lot more detail into his work than me. But I still probably think we're too close for a collaboration.
Yeah. Have you ever done like a collab with like a black and grey artist, like a realism artist?
I've got a couple lined up. I'm doing a collaboration with a black and grey artist called Maxims from a studio in Tamworth called Rebel with a Cause. He's got a very unique style for his black and grey. I think it's going to work well together. I've done collaboration in Brussels with a good friend of mine, Tom Stevenson. He's a black and grey artist. I do find that with black and grey, I have to change the way that I do things a little bit more. I think if you've got huge, bright pops of neon colour next to high contrasts, black and grey, I think the contrast is almost too harsh. So I kind of tend to like dumb mine down a little bit. Not dumb the tattoo itself down, kind of dumb the colours down a little bit. Yeah. So it's not as over the top. It's not as illuminous and neon as bright as I could get it. So I use more muted colours, a more muted colour palette. Yeah. I did the same sort of thing with a guy called Clark Dudley. We did a collaboration together a few years ago where I used like opaque grey and more muted greeny sort of tones, more earthy tones.
So it wasn't as much of a contrast.
So it was a lot more subtle rather than bam in your face, here's a leaf.
Don't forget to head over to Instagram and drop me a message. Let me know who you want to hear from in the next episode.
Like when you do collabs, because I've not done one really. I mean, do you prefer to kind of sit down with the artist? I presume that's what you did with Colin.
Yeah.
Or do you kind of like, you'll draw bits, send it to them, they'll draw bits, and then
it's a little bit of both. It does work better when you're both in the same room or sitting down at a table together.
So yeah.
I do find it easier as well if one of you take the lead slightly. Some of the guys I've done collaborations with, they're more experienced with collaborations than myself. So, you know, I would say, well, I think it's best if you take the lead and then I can kind of bounce off your ideas a little bit. But there's been other people where like I've had more experience, so I've done the same sort of thing where I've said, okay, I think we should do, the main focus of it will be this, or the theme of it will be this, or the main colour palette part of it will be this. Yeah. And then they've gone, okay, I think this would work well with that, and so on and so forth. And then you just naturally develop a good chemistry with each other. And it just doesn't feel like work. It feels like you're just having fun with a friend.
Yeah, man. It's definitely something I want to explore.
Yeah, like when Anthony Lennox was here, he was here for 3 days. We collabed for 2 days. We were here from 10 in the morning till 12 at night, like pretty much all 3 days. It was just a laugh. It was just fun. It was just me taking the piss out of him constantly, him taking the piss out of you know, me and the client, even the client was jumping on it. It was just fun. It's definitely a good time.
Yeah, man, that's what it's about, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, working with kind of like-minded people. Something I just love doing with this podcast, you know, kind of getting out and just having a chat with other artists, you know, picking their brains, because I think it's just important, isn't it? I don't think we spoke about Sullen as well. How did your involvement with Sullen come to be?
I followed the Sullen Instagram page for as long as I can remember, just going through liking pictures. And then I had a little fanboy moment when you go through your notifications, you know, new follower, or followed by Sullen Clothing. Oh, yeah, that's awesome. I don't know, years went by, was liking each other's posts. They shared some of mine. And then Ryan just sent me a message from his personal Instagram page. So, did you want to do a T-shirt design for us? So, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Went through a few ideas. He said yes to some, no to others. And then, to be honest, I forgot about it. Like, so much time had gone by in between that initial message and when the T-shirt actually came out. I completely forgot about it.
Yeah.
I think I was in Manchester on a night out, and I looked at my phone, and I'd been tagged in a post by Sullen, and it was just a Sullen model going through T-shirts on like a table, and I was like, oh, there's my T-shirt. Oh, that's awesome.
No,
and then before you know it, they just shipped loads of T-shirts out to you. Like, that was easy and really cool. But I imagine with such a big company as Sullen, it takes them so long to go through the designs and then the incredible artists they've got on their roster as well.
Yeah.
From the initial let's do a T-shirt together to it's on the shelves. So I do understand why it took so long to come out.
Yeah, of course. I think you mentioned that you got your Valkyrie design on the way.
Yeah. Hopefully that should be a new release. I don't know when, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's exciting, man. I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah, loads of T-shirts might just turn up on the doorstep tomorrow. You never know.
Yeah, that's it. I love it, man. Bit of a deep one, but I guess it's something that I always kind of try and like to understand from the people that I'm kind of sitting down with. Do you personally feel like you've achieved what you wanted to achieve? And have you achieved success?
I think people have got different definitions of success. Success to me isn't the outwards appearance of success. I haven't got to drive a Ferrari. I haven't got to have a mansion. I've just got to have a smile on my face at the end of each day. To me, that's happiness is success.
That's definitely why I got into doing this, you know. I got into this because art and creating was what made me happy, you know. I think the money is a byproduct, of course. And, you know, I mean, you work hard, you can do well in the industry, you know. Money...
Of course, we're doing this, you know, to get paid. It's a hobby. It's our love. It's, you know, our interests. It's our lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know, but at the end of the day, we still want to get paid for doing it, obviously. Yeah.
But a lot of that can then be put back into the business,
of course.
Into kind of improving yourself, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Quite a good way for me to link on to the question that was left for you from the previous guest.
Okay.
And that question was,
if you could choose a different career path that you knew you were going to earn more money in, would you leave the industry for that new career?
No, I don't think I would. If I'm trying to think what my other interests, I like doing the occasional bit of woodwork, like carpentry. But if someone wanted to give me, I don't know, £250,000 a year for doing carpentry, I think I'd probably still rather tattoo. Although tattooing, as we said earlier, it's very mentally draining. It's not exactly a physical, demanding sort of job. You know, it takes its toll on your back and your wrists and stuff, obviously. But I think I'd rather take the lower wage and still be able to tattoo. Yeah. Just to have that creative outlet.
And that like contentment, I guess.
Yeah.
I think if that for me is the reason for me doing it, you know. I think that's the most important thing. Can you be doing well with tattooing and have loads of clients, be making a load of money? Do you know what I mean? But if you're not happy, then like, what do you know?
Yeah, exactly.
What's the point?
And I have seen it, and it is a shame that it happens. I hope it never happens to me. But you do see a lot of artists fall out of love with tattooing over time. Whether it be like 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. I mean, some of the old boys have been tattooing 40 years.
Yeah.
And you can see in their work that they just don't care anymore. And it's a shame to see that they don't want to progress in their career anymore. And it's turned from a career into a job.
A job, yeah.
Yeah, a job.
It's a shame, isn't it?
To me, tattooing's, it's never been a job. It never will be a job. It's a career. It's a lifestyle. You live the entirety of it, or you get left behind, pretty much.
Yeah. No, it's so true. That being said, have you got any words of advice for anyone listening who is just getting into the industry, or is kind of feeling like they're stuck in a rut and maybe, is struggling?
I think in the last 5 years, there's so many more avenues now for artists to learn and grow. We've access to online seminars, webinars, workshops. There are a lot more studios now than there used to be, a hell of a lot more. So apprentices and apprenticeships, they're aplenty, they're kind of everywhere. People first getting into the industry, draw, and then draw some more. Look at what other artists are doing, listen to people. It's gone. Tip of my tongue moment, gone, bye.
That's good.
Ooh.
No. So tip, advice, draw, definitely. That's the first one.
Draw as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Listen to your mentor. Your mentor is going to be the most important person in the studio to you. But also listen to the other artists around you. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's certain things that I do in my tattooing, in my day-to-day life, that some other artists probably wouldn't agree with. But try not to pick up the bad habits that a lot of people do when they first start tattooing. There's a million and one of them. Listen to your mentor, draw. Take your time.
Yeah. There's
too many people getting into the industry that want to be amazing straight off the bat.
That's what I was trying to say earlier. Yeah.
It's not going to happen. I'm going to contradict myself now. With the exception of Michelle Madison, she was always incredible off the bat, the very first tattoo she did. You're never going to be amazing right off the bat. It's going to take time. It's a trade at the end of the day. You're not going to go and build a house after doing a 1-day bricklaying course.
Yeah, of course. So
you're not going to do an amazing tattoo after apprenticing for a week or two. It's not going to happen. As far as people stuck in a rut, seminars, webinars, workshops, general social media, even the YouTube videos that are available out there. Find that inspiration again and try and get back on the horse and get yourself back in that saddle and find that inspiration. Again, conventions are a big one for that.
Yeah.
I come away from every single convention going, yes, that was awesome. Yes, I can't wait to go back home and tattoo. I feel so driven to get better and do something that I haven't done before.
Yeah, so important. And conventions, where can people find you? You got any coming up this year?
Yeah, so my next conventions will be Tattoo Tea Party in Manchester. I'll be at the London show in September.
Yeah, September, yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing
I'll see you there.
You'll see me there? Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm doing the Blackpool TatCon with the guys in the TC Threads booth.
Yeah.
And I'll be doing Halloween Bash in Wolverhampton, organised by my friends. It's a fun, small, local show.
Exciting. A lot on then.
Yeah. Well, trying to do these conventions along with the wedding this year, trying to get the conventions a little bit more local and a bit further apart from each other rather than working a weekend, sort of working a convention every other weekend.
Yeah, nice. You're obviously very hardworking. You're a true artist, mate.
Thank you.
And you should just be very proud of yourself and what you've achieved.
Oh, thank you.
And it's just been great to kind of sit down with you and pick your brain, really, man. A little section that we're going to have in the podcast now.
Okay.
You mentioned that you like drawing.
Yes.
We've got a bit of a drawing challenge today.
Okay, let's do it.
So what I've got for you here, we've got a piece of A5 paper, and you've got a Bic, you've got a HB, a 2B, and a 0.5 mil fine liner, and I'm going to give you 3 minutes to draw something. And what we're going to do It's going to basically be, you're going to leave the task for the next guest.
Okay.
So it has to be a subject matter and a style, whether that's like a trad skull or a realism fish, or whatever it might be. So let me give you these. And just to make matters worse for you, I'm going to be giving you some quick fire general knowledge questions at the same time.
So are you going to be drawing at the same time?
I'm not drawing, this is you. And then at the end of the season, we're going to have a competition and see who did the best. We've got a piece of A5 paper. You've got a BIC, you've got a HB, a 2B, and a 1/2 mil fine liner. And I'm going to give you 3 minutes to draw trad stem rows. 3, 2, 1, go. What does BBC stand for?
British Broadcasting or something.
What nut is used to make marzipan?
Almond.
Yes. What element does O represent on the periodic table?
Oxygen.
Who was the British Prime Minister before Theresa May?
Boris Johnson. Yeah.
What's the name of the river that runs through Egypt?
Nile.
In metres, how long is an Olympic swimming pool?
100.
For 1 point, can you name the actors who played Rachel Green, Joey Tribbiani, Phoebe Buffay, Chandler Bing, Monica Geller, Ross Geller?
David Swimmer, Matt LeBlanc, Jennifer Aniston.
He's good.
Lisa Kudrow, Matt Perry.
Is that it? I think that's
Fox.
it. What's the name of the royal family's castle in Scotland?
Edinburgh Castle.
For 1 point, what's 5 basic senses do humans have?
Sight, smell, touch, farting.
Right, we're halfway. Who did Orlando Bloom play in Pirates of the Caribbean?
Oh, some knob.
Which English town has football teams called United and Wednesday?
Sheffield and Manchester.
How many people are there on an English jury?
10.
What is the highest mountain in the world? Giving up.
Everest.
How many wives did Henry VIII have? Come on, you drew Henry VIII. You should know this one.
Divorce beheaded, died. Divorce beheaded, survived.
So, yeah, that's good. What's the name of Andy Murray's tennis playing brother?
Louis Murray.
Where would you find the Golden Gate Bridge?
San Francisco.
Yeah. Hold on, you're throwing me off here. What's the capital of Spain?
I don't know.
I feel like that's a curveball, that one. Is it the one that you think it is? I don't know.
No idea.
How many makes up Baker's dozen?
12.
What is YouTuber Zoella's real name? What is that question?
Who?
I don't even know who she is. Who is the lead singer of Coldplay? Pass. Where are we? Okay. What is the main fruit in Ribena?
Blackberries.
In fashion, what does YSL stand for?
YSL.
That's your time up. Put your pen down.
Oh, man.
Sick. How did we do? Fuck. Hey, that's good, that. That is a solid competition entry right there. Mate, can you sign that on the bottom?
Oh, can I just finish it?
Lovely stuff. Yeah, man. That was sick.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no worries at all. Mate, it's been really good. Can you just do me one last favour and leave me a question for the next guest?
Right. So my question is probably a question that a lot of artists think to themselves and think, why the hell did I not do that? If you could go back to the days of having no tattoos whatsoever, wipe the slate completely clean, bare skin, and get your whole body covered by one artist.
Yeah.
A whole huge composition, a whole bodysuit of one artist. Who would that artist be?
Love it. Thank you very much. Thanks for your
You're
time,
very
mate.
welcome.
Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot for
Cheers,
coming
bro.
down. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you. Thanks for listening. I hope you've enjoyed the podcast this week. Don't forget to hit the bell icon and the follow button wherever you listen to your podcasts. And don't forget to head over to YouTube and hit that subscribe button as well. Really helps the podcast grow. And thank you so much for all the support so far. I'm Alex Lloyd, and this is a 21st Century Tattoo. Thanks for listening.
Okay.
And we're also going to introduce something else as well. A little surprise.
Yeah, thanks for that.
We're going to test it out with you, so you'll be fine. I couldn't think of anyone better to do it with.